Hello everyone and welcome to my channel Tranquility Through Life's Natural Beauty, and of course today is Thursday, so that means a pop-up of Inspirational Thursday Thoughts. And as you can see, this is a special edition. It's not just a shout out for a channel, it's a very specific reason. So before we get into that, I think first of all we will do Thursday Quote Corner. So let's take a look at that. Now, as I say, it's not specifically a channel shout out, but first of all, let me shout out Blue's Self-Reliance channel. all, I'm going to go on to Blue's channel and read you about her channel for those of you who may not have encountered this amazing, awesome lady. So here's her about section of her channel, and it says self-reliance, urban homesteading and wellness on a rainwater budget. Hi, my name is Pam, but please do call me Blue. I'm a qualified chef, nutritionalist, dietitian, herbalist and naturopath. I have always worked towards being as self-sufficient as possible and supplying my family food from the ground up. 10 years ago, an accident forced me into retirement due to a major injury, and from there, things were kind of pear-shaped. This channel is what I'm doing to claw my way back to where I was and beyond through natural therapies and urban homesteading, whilst teaching others to do the same on a very tight budget. So that gives you a very good all-rounder of Blue's channel. And do go and check out her channel. It's at Blue's Self-Reliance. Let me just grab that for you. It's funny, when you type it in, I always get blood self-reliance. I always get that comes up on mine. I don't know why. I don't know if anyone else gets that. So anyway, I'm just going to throw in the comments her channel. If you are watching this back later, I believe I have got it in the description as well. And before we go any further, we must say hello to another awesome friend of ours, very good supporter. It is Shirley from Glitter's World. Check out her channel. Now, the reason I'm particularly talking about Blue's channel today is it's very specific, something I want to talk about. And while I was finding this link for you, what I wanted to talk about specifically, I found many more since I saw this one post on her community post. So I suggest, if you don't have time so much to watch people's videos, don't go on the shorts, go on Blue's community post. You will learn so much about her from her community post, little stories and snippets and things that occurred in her life and how she's where she is now. It just makes an awesome read. Put down your book, put down your Kindle, turn off your other devices and games and what have you. Go on and look at Blue Self-Reliance community post. Now, the reason for this shout out today is she's doing a very different kind of Vlogmas. And it is so typical of Blue to think of everyone else and also those that aren't what other people would assume are in the norm world. And she likes to contradict this thought by explaining to you simply about Christmas, how it is not what a lot of people like to think Christmas is about. So, for example, I'm sharing on the screen with you, and she's reminding you, you don't need matching Christmas pajamas to be happy. You don't need 100 Instagram pictures with Santa at different venues to have a good Christmas. You don't need a Christmas Eve box to have a magical Christmas Eve. Children need presents more than presents. Family and friends are everything. A Christmas movie night does not have to be in picture perfect home on a 65-inch screen TV. Colour-coded decorations mean nothing to children. And so it goes on. And then she goes on to the whole post to explain to you all about her Christmas vlog and what she's doing. She's also saying the size of your present pile isn't a reflection on you as a parent whatsoever. Yes, just dad being home from working down the mines years ago was solely enough for the children. And don't forget, in the old days, a lot of people had to work on Christmas Day. So just being home in time for the late night Christmas dinner was everything. And when I say Christmas dinner, it didn't mean anything at all. Maybe just having that orange, if they were lucky enough to get that in their stocking. She says, your children will grow up and only remember the love and laughs at Christmas, not what they got. And yes, I would challenge you. Perhaps you can think of maybe you got a bike one year or a special thing you always wanted. But how many actual Christmas presents can you recall? That would be very interesting. And Blue says, with so many struggling this year, this is such a good reminder to everyone that it isn't about the stuff. It is about the people within your four walls. And that doesn't even mean company. It's being at peace with yourself. And Blue says, whether you have a lot of people around and living in your own home or in a refuge or halfway house, it doesn't matter if you are sofa surfing or if you're even living in your car. Christmas is about the spirit. If you aren't sure where to find it, check out places around you that are doing community Christmas get-togethers and meals. And Blue says, I have to be honest, over the years I have been involved in many, either as a volunteer or running them myself, and they have been some of the best Christmas events I've ever been part of. I know that personally as well. You think you've had the most marvellous Christmases, but just going and helping somebody else just to give them a meal at Christmas is so fulfilling. Blue continues saying, Christmas is about service and giving. It is not about what you can get. Teaching our kids about this is a very important lesson. And I would like to bring at this point, you see the big family channels on YouTube and they give loads of presents, and then some comments say, oh, you're lucky and you're spoiled, whatever. And the parents always reiterate with, well, if we can afford it, we will do it. That's fine. But are you all going and giving something to others too? And then Blue says, sure, we always want Christmas to be magical and the wonder and joys of all that it brings. But in the end, kids are more interested in the sparkly things, which if you take them for a walk into town and show them the lights, they can get that. Blue continues by saying, one year I cancelled Christmas on the day. They were complaining that they didn't see enough under the tree, and the jumper they got was the wrong colour, etc., etc. I packed up all the food and the kids' presents, and we all went off to the local community Christmas dinner, and they were taught a valuable lesson. In fact, by the end of it, they were in tears, and not for the wrong reasons. They had learned that there are people, including kids, some they even knew, that are way worse off than them. And that is just because the colour wasn't right for them. Someone else found it perfect and appreciated it more than they ever would have. Blue continues saying, we always from that point made sure, under their direction, to do something for others. In fact, my youngest made it a rule that we used to have to buy a present to put under the giving trees in the stores or those in shopping malls, wherever we could find them. He used to come and help choose the presents and save his pocket money to get them wrapped by the nice girls who set up in the mall before we put them under. I used to go around with the shopping trolley when I was buying presents for my nephews and nieces, and it was one for one, one for number two, one for number three, one for child 4, one for child 5, one for child 6, one for child 7, and one for the unknown child. And I would always do that. The kids always made sure, says Blue, to invite friends and their families over who they knew were doing it tough for dinner and the day. I've always had an open door policy where it comes to the day, so that those who were doing it alone or without wouldn't feel like they were gate crashing or butting in, which can be very difficult, I know. You often get the reply from old people or people on their own because they don't want to intrude. The common phrase would be, I don't like Christmas, or I don't do Christmas. And I used to say to those people, well, that's all right, because we're not doing Christmas. Just come round and have dinner with us and a drink. And that was simple. Blue continues saying, in fact, it is difficult for me these days not to have a big Christmas day at our home because I'm so used to 20 plus people. And yes, I'd like to say there as well, most people as adults, it gets more lonely just when you don't have children or when you've left the big family hub or whatever else. So that's your job to make it a big Christmas, as Blue does. Blue carries on by saying, we now do Boxing Day, which is the day after Christmas, for our kids and their families and whoever else chooses to come. When we lived at the other flat, we had a neighbour, Tony, who I made sure always had a Christmas dinner and a tray of yummy things and picky bits for later on, as he was on his own. Blue says, it's amazing how much more like Christmas it feels like when you do something good for another person. We don't do it for notoriety or to get something back, because we get that from the feeling that doing that good thing gives us. To do it for clicks and likes and subscribers, etc., means doing business. It isn't for the right reasons. And Blue's done another post recently explaining this same thing, when you get the stars come out at Christmas and they show their charity acts and whatever else. If you do something for charity, you don't talk about it. If you give money away, you don't talk about it. And as Blue says, unless it's business and profiteering for yourself. And Blue finishes by saying, so if you know of people around you doing it tough, invite them over or just leave them a surprise hamper on their doorstep. Take them a plate or just spend time with them. If you have a community Christmas event going on, see how you can help. If you can't help momentarily, many hands make light work and there are never enough volunteers. Let's make this Christmas about each other and not about the stuff. And she finishes saying, oh, and P.S., let's try and keep that mindset for the rest of the year as well. And that, guys, is why I wanted to share that with you. As I say, not a shout out per se, although it is, do check out her channel. That's what she's all about. But it was something I wanted more people to see. It was so there. I sent her a message, just that pajama thing is step number one, saying it's not about the matching family pajamas. I don't like watching these Christmas movies, particularly the American movies on Hallmark, I think is your channel. They are lovely, very lovely stories, but it's always about the whole family comes back from wherever they are in the whole world. They come back and it's, all right, things might go wrong and something happens in the story, but it always ends up a totally perfect Christmas. And don't forget the snow. So for that reason, I think they must be so sad for people to watch at Christmas time if they are on their own. So do go over to Blue's channel. Do let her know that I shared this particular information. As I say, you need to actually go and read her community post. It's just so full of information about getting on, all the things I'm about, getting up, getting going. So much there. I'm just seeing if there's anything else about Christmas on here. There's bits about how she became a chef. Oh, this is what I was talking about. She said as well about this. People say they do things for charity, but it's all over their social media and there just happens to be a photographer there taking pictures of the moment and whatever. So this was yesterday, I believe she posted this on her community post. Blue Self-Reliant says, there are hundreds of channels out there right now making acts of kindness a lucrative acts of business for them, with millions of followers and subscribers following them to see their kind acts, when in reality all it is an ego boost for narcissist people. And Blue continues by saying, everywhere that writes about kindness from the Bible to other religious and secular texts says the same thing. Do these good works in the shadows, i.e. don't make a scene about it or be seen to be doing it. So it's much better, don't leave a message with your Christmas gift from your neighbour, blah, blah. Just leave it there. Leave it there. Let them think, who could that have been? I have nice neighbours. And then they will talk more to you. Blue continues saying, true acts of kindness are done because they are the right thing to do, that you can do in that moment. Making money off homeless people or someone you think is lonely or alone or in some kind of awful situation is not an act of kindness. It's a boast, a way of making money. And then Blue says, now, I don't know about you, but I don't have my phone in my hand as I walk down the street. I'm far too busy trying to stay upright and not walk myself off the road or bump into lampposts to be reading my phone or filming every moment of my day. I keep in the moment of where I am, of what I am doing. And sometimes I find moments that I can help someone brighten their day with a smile and a kind comment or a joke or an idea, and offering assistance. I've talked about this before, how I've always produced shows and been in shows and TV and films and so on and so forth. And it got to be when I was doing a massive performance with thousands of people watching, and all you could see was phones or iPads filming the event. This is why a lot of theatres say no films, no phones, but of course people still do it. And at concerts, none of this thing, because you don't get that looking at someone's face. Yes, albeit there's certain shows and performances where people say, how can you be on stage all the time? Aren't you afraid? You can't see their faces mostly, but when all the house lights are up, you see a sea of phones and recording devices. And it's not that personal experience anymore. Anyhow, Blue continues with, I don't think in that moment, what will I get from this? Because in that moment, it doesn't matter. What matters is being a human being and helping another human being because you can, and it's the right thing to do. And then Blue says, have you watched a person's face when you say thank you at the checkout or in a taxi or even the bus driver? Automatically their back straightens and their shoulders go back and the smile comes across their face because you are telling them they are appreciated and seen in a job that honestly many people take for granted. And Blue says, I was sitting at the bus stop last week and a road sweeper guy was doing his job and cleaning around the bus stop. And I said, hi, how are you? He actually looked around him to see if I was talking to him. We struck up a conversation, and as my bus was coming, I said to him, I just want you to know that what you're doing is appreciated, probably more than you know, and I thank you for doing it. And when you consider he's probably clearing up rubbish that people just throwing on the ground anyway, his reply made my eyes leak when he said, oh, how sweet. As long as you do, that's enough for me. I gave him a hug. Oh, Blue doesn't hug people, so that's awesome, Blue. I gave him a hug and caught my bus. I haven't seen him since. That was a moment, though, that changed two people's day. Not just because all of a sudden he knew he was seen and appreciated, but because he grabbed it with both hands and shared the appreciation. And then Blue says, giving away hundreds and thousands is great if you have it, but honestly, more good is done if no one knows about it. If it's just two people in that moment and one of those people taking the couple of moments to help the one person and make a difference for them. And she finally finishes with, doing kind things for the wrong reasons is definitely all about you and not about the person. It breeds discontent, lack of respect and entitlement. Well, I did this for you, so you should do it for me. That isn't kindness. That is absolutely ego and doing business. Help one person today and make a difference for them because it's the right thing to do, not because it would gain you clicks and shares. And she's actually put up a picture of Jim Carrey once said, imagine struggling with being homeless and someone comes with a camera in your face to give you a meal and you have to take it. Imagine that feeling. Please stop doing that. If you go to help someone, do it with kindness, not your ego. And Blue's on, because obviously I'm on the screen of reading out Blue's content for you, and I've just come back and Blue's in the house. Well, we've already done a big shout out for Blue, but she has to have this. Do go and check out her channel. See, I told you, Blue is such a good supporter of the channel. Yes, if you look at the title of this live, I don't even know if you just clicked on it, Blue, but it says special edition of Inspirational Thursday Thoughts at Blue Self-Reliance. I've shared, Blue, I can't get into my edits from here, but I think I've shared your channel link and that particular video about your Vlogmas. If you would like to add anything, Blue, any content, links, anything you have, then please do it. Blue says, I'm sitting here in shock, hun. Bam is here and heard everything. See, that's the way to go. See, I know it's not really fully what you're talking about, not doing something for gaining something back, but it's the fact of when someone does a video about a channel, they normally go, oh, I did a live about you, blah, 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 blah. And no, Blue didn't know. Yeah, so if you do go and check out Blue's channel, I was sharing, I don't know if you got the beginning, Blue, but it was particularly that pajama thing that caught me. And as I say, guys, don't go and watch your favourite programme tonight or whatever it is you do, play on your computer or go and chill out, whatever you do, go and instead of reading or watching, read Blue's community post. I would say it's the best community post out of the whole of YouTube. Truly had no clue. Hey, that's what we like. That's what we like. Yes. So it was so as I say, she's doing Vlogmas. I've linked underneath her channel, but I've also linked the video. I think the one where she's talked about, yes, what she's doing for Vlogmas and why she's doing it. So if you liked what you heard today, go and check out that video, and definitely Blue's channel. So that's really all I had to share with you. It's absolutely awesome. And what Blue won't know is I had a little bit of a sticking point how I could screen share, which I showed you the first little bit, her list. And it was Blue who helped me get it up there. And she had no clue that I was wanting to share particular things up there. So, yeah, there we go. Look, I can do it now. It was quite good. I knew how to do it, but it never came up. So, but what it was, Blue said to me, I think you must have an ad blocker up, and it's the ad blocker that will stop it showing. And that was exactly what it was. Blue says, bless you. Thank you so much. I've started feeling a little inspired to share inspirational things in the morning. I love it. I'm going to actually, tomorrow, if I've got time, go back and see how many of them I haven't read. I was reading before I came on live the one about the chef business, about how you nearly kill people. I was reading that one, and there's a few other good ones there, definitely. So I'm just scrolling now. Be a good human. Most people, like I do myself, just use the community posts for like, I'm not doing a live today, don't worry, and that kind of thing. And if someone's missing from YouTube, you go and look at their community post. But I tell you guys, if I'd realised how much content there was on Blue's community posts, then I did read, Blue, if you wasn't on the one about how you cancelled Christmas. I thought that was very inspirational. I mean, what's to say? It's one day, guys. If you are struggling, it's one day. I was sitting today when we got back, and I was like, well, do I do videos? Do I not do videos over Christmas? And I'm not doing anything Christmas. And what I've decided to do is, because I've got so much else I need to do, it's not because of Christmas. So I thought, well, I'm going to do my last live of this year will be my Fridays so it will be Friday the 22nd of December will be my last one, and then I will come back again on Wednesday the 3rd of January. So that kind of, I probably will still post, I don't know, I probably won't post them all. No, because unless I do scheduled posts, but I'm actually running out of videos, to be honest with you, because I try and keep it right up there. And while we talk about Christmas, Blue's also got a post here. Blue says she's a month younger than this song, Slade. Merry Christmas, everybody. And she said it's one of her favourite Christmas songs. I don't think you can beat that one. I really don't. Who says, yes, the kids learnt a big lesson that year. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, it's not about stuff. And I think that's half the trouble. So many people buy lots of things for people. I see even some like 16th birthdays, they get a horse, and in America they get a car. And what are you going to do for something really big, you know? What are you going to do for something big? Well, that was all I wanted to come on today. I was thinking, should I ask you if it's right to use your content, Blue? But I know what you're like. You want to get your message out there to as many people as possible. So that is what I'm doing. So as I say, yes, a shout out for the channel, but more a shout out, not just for awesomeness, but spreading the message. Absolutely spreading the message. And that was just so spot on, that little bit I read out. And then you made me get a bit tearful when you read about the sweeper at the bus stop. I think that was awesome. And I don't know if you were on at that point, Blue, and I read the bit, it said you hugged him. And I said, oh, Blue doesn't hug people. So that shows what a massive thing that was. Blue says, yes, the 16th birthday thing has become a major thing. It's silly. Yes. Go ahead, hon, anytime. Certainly will, Blue. So as I say, I'm going to go and I've actually got to go and play with YouTube. I want to try something else that I want to do on my birthday video. So I will play around with that while I'm in StreamYard. But I will finish here. Be awesome, everyone. And think of someone else first. Oh, I did want to mention about Blue was talking about if you can go and help at any of these Christmas events where they do things for homeless and anybody else. If you can't do, oh, I'm away for Christmas, or oh, I have the family round, then go and ask them in advance, what can I do before the day? I'm sure you could decorate the hall or the room they use or whatever it is. You can give them something if you can afford to give something. If you can't give something monetary wise, you do have time. As I put up today, I think it was very poignant. I put up Quote Corner today. Let me play it again for you. And people say, I'm too busy. That is, the phrase that does my head in. And this was my Quote Corner for the day. Yeah, so get up earlier or go to bed later and plan your day. How much time do you really waste on your day? So I'm going to finish there today because I'm just over full of awesomeness from Blue. She's so inspirational. And I will see you all here tomorrow, Friday Friendship Club. And do make sure you've pressed the notification bell. I think you need to be subscribed to do that, and you will see what time that is on tomorrow. So thank you, Blue, for being Blue. Thank you, Shirley, for being here. And thank you to all of you who are watching back later. Blue says, thanks again, hon. That's so sweet of you. It's your content, Blue. So if you think it's awesome, that's you. Blue says a lot of places get overwhelmed with help at Christmas and lack in other times of the year. So help at other times is just as important. That's a very good point for sure. So don't forget, if you go to Blues, just say you saw it on here. That's not to promote my channel because she knows I'm always sending people over, but just so she sees how many people got that spread message. So thanks a lot, guys. Have a good one. What are you going to do today to make today great? Hope you've been inspired. See you next time.